Okay, Diablo 4 into the endgame. There's a new video here posted on the Diablo channel talking about the endgame. So we're going to watch it and we're going to get my live reaction to it. Let's get going. Starting right from the beginning here. Necromancer, Rogue. Necromancer, Ranger? Rogue?
We're really excited about getting this game into players' hands, letting them experience this massive world.
A main cornerstone of D4 is play your way. As a player continues to advance through the story,
Play your way. I think that's Burger King's motto.
They'll unlock a ton of brand new activities that provide meaningful progression, no matter their playstyle.
Players will be able to keep progressing in the narrative of the game. Alongside that, the whole team has worked on crafting a variety of different experiences for players.
Maybe they'll talk about adventure mode or
We're going to
something.
have an entire world of Sanctuary for our players to offer. There's going to never be an absence of something to do.
After the player has finished the campaign, there's a lot more game to go and participate in. They gain access to a special, what we call capstone dungeon that they have to complete. Once they're able to finish this capstone dungeon, they're going to gain access to the first world tier.
As you complete the world tier, it will open up the opportunity for you to go into your next world tier.
Okay, so we beat the game. We beat these capstone dungeons. Gets us to Nightmare or whatever. You beat the Nightmare ones. That gets you the tournament, etc. That's what I'm
That
hearing.
involves unlocking powerful loot, new items, and more advantages for your player to have a better opportunity at end game.
Whether you're a fan of dungeons, PvP, or just roaming around the world, there's a way to continue
He said
your
PvP.
Diablo adventure long after hitting
I want
max
to talk
level.
about the PvP.
As your character continues to grow in power, you'll start with the skill tree and expand out into the Paragon
Yep.
system.
Talent
A lot of
board.
the choices the players make are grounded on skills themselves and the fantasies associated with those skills. The Paragon board.
Okay, here we go. This is the Paragon board. First look at the Paragon board. So we have +5 intelligence. This is just plus stats mostly. Looks like he's here.
A lot more customization.
Dexterity, etc. So you can see all the different stats that are in there.
More options as you go.
You can rotate the board, so you can choose a different...
Also, those
path.
refund costs look kind of high. How much was the refund cost? Was 53,000. 53,000 gold was the refund cost.
You can rotate the board, so you can choose a different path. If you're like, I want to do more strength-based things, or I want these particular boons or glyphs, you can chart your path through it, and they're really a way for you to keep expanding.
One of those was
your character,
armor.
making it uniquely yours.
Similar to the Paragon boards is the Codex of Power. It's an in-game system that holds the aspects related to the character. You are able to complete a dungeon, and they will have a chance to drop an aspect that you can pick up.
So in the beta, it was 100% time of that you did the dungeon. It gave the aspect if there was one. You could see it on the map if it was going to reward an aspect or not. And you could even go to the basically the achievements and read it from there, which is
What
nice.
this allows players to do is take items they're finding in the world and make them more powerful, turn them into legendary items.
It's really special to discover what kind of playstyle really means the most to you.
But the Codex gave you like the lowest row, basically, of all the legendary stats. Nightmare dungeons.
Every part of Sanctuary is fulfilling and satisfying. Dungeons in particular are really close to my heart. Nightmare dungeons are going to give the players the opportunity to experience a dungeon that they might have already experienced in their past playthroughs. They'll enter the dungeon with a found sigil that alters the playstyle and the intensity of the dungeon.
So it's like
More
heroic
difficult,
dungeon.
And they have additional objectives, and then they also have affixes, which add a degree of difficulty for you and your group to work through.
So it's kind of like the modifiers on Elder Rifts and Diablo more, though, basically. Like you're going to have bonus modifiers to change how strong it is.
One of my favorite affixes that you can find in Nightmare Dungeons is actually called Hellgate. Occasionally, these portals will open up throughout the area that will just pour out different monsters that
That's
aren't
cool.
native to that region for you to
That's
also
cool.
be dealing with while you're trying to handle everything else inside the dungeon. There's over 120 dungeons to play through and find in Diablo 4, and any one of them can become a Nightmare dungeon by finding a Nightmare sigil and then using it to activate the Nightmare version of that dungeon space.
Everything's a little darker, everything's more difficult. It's going to add a little bit of a twist of flavor on your particular dungeon.
So it's still the same dungeon, but it's harder with
There's
modifiers.
some targeted activities in Diablo 4 that suit what you're feeling in the mood for.
The Force of Hell are starting to have
Okay, this is the stuff I'm mostly curious about because in an MMO, I want to spend my time running around the overworld, just checking stuff out, etc. I mostly like doing that. I mean, dungeons, sure. I guess dungeons are a big part of it. I would prefer not to spend most of my time in the dungeons.
influence in certain parts of Sanctuary in the vast interconnected overworld of the experience. And as the players are going into Helltide areas, you're gonna find even more powerful monsters. And by killing them, they'll be able to gain these special shards they can take to go and use to purchase these big rewards that are available at these caches that are found literally throughout Helltide areas.
The sky dark.
So it's like chess, basically. You go, you open up these chests from collecting shards from killing. You kill the monsters, gives you enough to basically have a key. Use the key, you open the chest, you get some loot.
And the rivers run red, meteors fall from the sky, and the
Cool
monsters get
aesthetic.
harder. We really want to create new experiences for the players. There's one I really like called Whispers of the Dead, which you get from the Tree of Whispers. The Tree of Whispers is grim and a little gruesome, but it's also something mystically haunting and kind of beautiful.
All the
The
heads.
tree has a little bit of a grudge against our players and it would like for them to go serve its needs. So you're going to go serve these bounties, gather different rewards, different items, and bring them back to the tree in hopes that it can exchange you something really meaningful.
Maybe you're gonna go to the Fractured Peaks and take out some werewolves that are rampaging in a town.
Kind of sounds like procedural quests or random quests, like, hey, go there, go here, kill these, come back to the tree. what it
Contained
sounded like.
activities that you can do alone or in a group. We really wanted to create variety for people to be able to spend time where they wanted to in the world. It's very cool the way it's been put together, and I can't wait for people to see it, to be honest.
Well, hopefully that's a viable strategy for farming, because I don't mind that type of gameplay, like in the overworld. I like the overworld, but prefer the over dungeons personally. The Fields of Hatred.
In Diablo 4, we have a focus on the world of Sanctuary. And there are parts of that world that we call the Fields of Hatred, where Lilith's presence in Sanctuary has begun to seep through and manifest these poisonous areas throughout the world. When players go to these regions, they get to engage in player versus player conflict.
Let's go, PvP time. Okay, so now I'm going to be super curious, because PvP and MMOs are crucial. I hope that this is somewhat balanced. I'm a little worried that people are going to get one shot all the time. I kind of want to see how they're going to talk about this.
These offer opportunities for the player to collect shards. But there is a little bit of a catch. In order to get these shards back to town, you'll need to purify them. Other players will definitely know that you're attempting to purify your shards, so you'd better be prepared to fight if you're going to be playing any PvP, and be prepared.
Okay, so hopefully this doesn't turn into like clans are just sitting on these things and basically charging fees in order for you to even use them, etc. A lot of times this type of stuff can get locked out.
That you might lose some stuff in the meantime.
Once they've got the purified shards, they can take these, go back to nearby towns to sell them, and then use that to buy a whole bunch of like interesting cosmetic items and rewards.
Oh, so cosmetic items is what he was saying.
It's a place for people who really love PvP and want to still get loot and still increase their character's
Okay, I definitely want to do the PvP, so this is interesting to me.
power. If that's the way they want to play, they can.
Launch is just the beginning. One of the things we're really focused on is creating a living, breathing set of updates for players to engage with after the game has gone live.
It's really just going to be a way to keep coming back and experiencing more Diablo 4 in fresh ways.
We're really eager to hear all of your experiences and just enjoy the entire story with you all.
Oh, it looks like a new Overworld boss. Oh man, the cutscenes are so good too. This part right there, where the demons don't even bother attacking him. Okay, so that's interesting. We mostly got information. I think the Paragon boards was fairly new information. Looking at this stuff here, you could see these stats, see the way it rotates and all that. See, what kind of bonuses you're able to get. That's interesting information. And then this PvP game mode over here, this Fields of Hatred, where you can actually end up buying. He said like cosmetic rewards, I think is what he said. Look at that. That looks like an ear right there or something. So cosmetic rewards from PvP, that could be kind of cool as well. So I'm kind of excited for that. Let me know, PvP, is that going to be a thumb up or thumb down for D4? Looks like they're trying to put some emphasis on it. Hopefully it's a thumb up. I don't know how they're going to balance it, but that's a topic we've talked about many times on the channel before. And if you're interested in seeing that topic covered more thoroughly, that's actually going to be in this video right up here, where we break down in some detail all the things about D4 and some balance issues.